Hi everyone, my name is Mutty. I'm the head of student recruitment here at the Management School at Lancaster University. So delighted you're joining me today for our talk around UCAS personal statements. This is where I'm joining you from today. I'm here in the Management School on our beautiful campus in Bailrigg here in Lancaster. So hopefully someday we might be able to invite you here and to have you with us. You are always more than welcome and look at opportunities to visit on our website or simply just get in touch. We're always happy and delighted to help. So on to the important things for today, to talk a little bit around what personal statements are, how they're used, writing a personal statement, some of our top tips as you go forward to start thinking about your personal statement. More importantly, we've had lots of questions around the impact of the current pandemic and also what you might be able to do. But also a top tip, there is a little pause button or symbol on the slide. So please do pause if you would like to take an extra moment to have a little look through. So some advantages of being with you virtually rather than in person, which hopefully we can meet here on campus or out in your schools. So what is a personal statement? If you're applying to a school here in the UK, any university in the UK would require an application personal statement. So it's an opportunity for us to see through your UCAS form what it is about you and what strengths you bring to any respective course that you're applying to. So in terms of the application itself, it forms part of your UCAS application. It is limited in terms of the space you have on there. So 4,000 characters, which is roughly equates to around 47 lines, and these would formulate roughly about a page, one side of A4. The important thing about this personal statement, it's about you. So it's about why you want to study the course, what skills and experiences you have, and what makes you a good fit for the course that you're applying for. How we might use your personal statement might vary depending on the course that you're applying for. So at Lancaster, we would be quite keen to see that you have researched the subject area, that you come and understand some of the transferable skills that you will be bringing and how they might be relevant to the course. So try to kind of look broader, wider around the subject of your choice. Some courses will obviously interview. So if you are particularly applying for a course that has an interview requirement, you can rest assured that your tutors will be having a quick look through your personal statement, and definitely as part of your interview process, you can expect that there may be some questions around some of the things that you've mentioned. So I'm sure your teachers in school will be telling you to always be truthful, and I do always have to caveat the fact that you should always listen to your counsellor or your teacher in your respective school or college. They are worldly wise and have supported students from your schools to universities for many years. So important to get their top tips. But this is one of the reasons they tell you that they must almost be true. So if you say you can speak French, very, very important that you may get a interviewer who is going to maybe test that skill as part of the interview process. But they can be used to formulate your interview questions. They may also be looking at your personal statement to evidence any work experience that you say that you have, the skills and the experiences that you gain from those experiences that you've said you've participated in. Some universities may also use this as an opportunity to assess borderline cases. So should you fall a point or two short somewhere, it may be used to reassess your suitability by looking at the types of things that you mentioned in your personal statement. And very, very, very importantly, it's an opportunity for us to see who you are and learn more about your experiences. So very, very important to get yourself across in the best possible light. One of the biggest questions we get is, what should I put in there? How much should I talk about school? How much should I talk about my co-curricular, super-curricular activities? At Lancaster, we're a competitive school, so like other competitive universities, we would ask for you to, majority of this to be focused towards your academic experiences. So around 75% academic, around 25% your co-curriculars. So it helps us paint a clear picture of the type of student that you are. It also helps us see that you can picture yourself at Lancaster and that you understand the type of course and the institution that you're applying for, but more importantly, what drives you as a person. So what is it that's motivated you to apply to university? What's motivated to apply for this course? So your ambition must really strike and come through strong as possible. So what are the admissions team looking for? We want to make sure we're getting the right kind of student. So the right type of student that has the knowledge, the experience of the course, that wants to be there, and that is going to flourish because of the experiences that they've developed. So that motivation, I seem to mention many a times, but that is one of the key things. So a genuine interest and understanding of the course that you're applying for. So you might demonstrate this by picking out a few key modules you might have seen in the curriculum. So you might see that, for example, entrepreneurship features quite heavily in our business management program here at Lancaster. So you might come with your own family business experiences and showing that you've done that research and you understand our values, and we also have a research centre around family business management. Shows that you have a key interest. But of course, we understand that you're applying to many other universities. So when you do use such examples, make sure that they don't isolate any particular institution and are appealing and apply to most of the schools, universities that you're applying to. Your skill set must also come through clearly as well. So we'll touch upon that as we go through. But the types of skills that you've developed in the classroom and outside the classroom as well are really, really important. Might be negotiation skills, it might be your analytical skills, it might be your research, your presentation, your communication, your team building skills to mention a few. So writing your personal statement. So I have to always say that this is an example structure. There is no set structure in what we expect, but there are certain things we expect to see in a personal statement when you're applying to university. By saying that there is no set structure, that doesn't mean we're looking for lists of bullet points or pictures made from words. Very much so around a piece of writing that's in prose. It's important that we can see your writing style and how you structure a short piece of writing, because remember, some universities will only get your marks, so we will not be able to see how you write as a student. So it's the first time we're seeing how well you write. So it's really important that you get across your spelling and grammar correctly, really, really important. We want to see these 4 key areas covered, really. So a good introduction that covers why you want to study the course, your academic interests, any relevant experiences that you have from work experience or your super-curricular, your co-curricular activities. And we also want to see a strong close, again, to reaffirm that this is a good piece of writing. So we want to see that you conclude that and bring all of those wonderful things you said about yourself to a strong close, pulling all of those skills and interests together. So starting off with a strong opening, we want to see why is it that this subject is interesting you? Why have you applied for this course? What skills do you possess that make you an ideal student for this course? And how any study that you've done currently has enabled you to get a firm understanding and relate to your course of study. Now remember, it's not always important to have studied an A-level or a qualification in business to study business, but a course within the social sciences or mathematics or anything else that you might have studied in the curriculum might have transferable skills, or even more importantly, things that you might have read outside the curriculum in The Economist or in the Financial Times that might show your keen interest towards the field of study. So here's a first opportunity for a pause, and please do pause if you'd like to take your time to read through these. But these are 5 most commonly used statements from some UCAS data a few years ago. And as you would expect, these are in extremely high numbers. So it's really, really important that when you do open your personal statement, that you're using a unique style, a writing style that isn't using some of these most commonly used lines. So here's a good example, a good opportunity for you to pause again if you'd like to have a little read through. But I'm going to whisk through this and give you some positives in green and some areas of improvement in red. So these are some of the things that you should be looking out for when you're strengthening your opening. So in terms of the subject, mention key things, particular areas that might interest you. That last line there talking about how this student sees themselves in a career in historical research for the future. Really nice kind of interesting points there that reinforce that the student is quite keen on future study in this subject area. Passion, commitment, really nice buzzwords that reinforce that. The red points here are not descriptive enough. They're not giving us much about the student's interest. That could have been elaborated by sharing more about the subject topic, a particular area that a student might have read, and that each period's unique characteristics is very generic. So something more specific about a period of history, for example, that the student might have found interesting. So moving on to academic interests in your personal statement, think about how what you're doing right now in school is contributing to your awareness and understanding for the subject that you're applying for. So is it the books you're reading, the trips you might have been, any documentaries that you might have read? How does your course relate to the current industry and the development? So I'd always recommend that you have a little glance through the Financial Times or have a look at the World section and Business section and BBC News. See the current issues that are impacting the world. It might be economics and the current COVID crisis. It could be around sports economics, what we're seeing around the world as it looks to restart after a pandemic and the implications of that from an economics point of view. And some of these things that might help us understand your motivations and your interests for the future. Anything you've done outside the school is really, really important as well, because I think I hear a lot from students. I find it extremely challenging. I'm only doing this in school, but there are other things you can do outside the school, including online learning, any activities, any sessions that you might have gone to that will all contribute to your strength of your personal statement. So here's another example, another one for the pause button and for you to be able to read through. And I'm going to skip straight into the strengths and areas of improvement for this one. So really, again, I mentioned about those online courses. There are lots of resources that you can look for, online courses that are free of charge. So this is not necessarily about paying for online learning, but it's about broadening your understanding and knowledge of a subject area. So have a look at other things that you could do, any books that you might have read that you might mention here. That's a great opportunity there. This student had an extended project as part of their qualification and spoke about the topic that they've done and a specific area that really gives us a taster of their motivations and interests within the subject area. Other areas in red here are, because the first one is already mentioned in your application, so you do not need to repeat any information already in your application form. We know the A levels or the other subjects that you're studying in your application, so that's not adding any additional value. And also in terms of things that are broadening your knowledge, again, it's not very specific in what area specifically has that book contributed to expanding your knowledge in economics. So the third section around all the wonderful things you do outside the classroom are also very, very important. It's important, as I mentioned earlier, that you are truthful, so mention things that you've done in your spare time, things that you can evidence or share at a later date is really, really important. And please don't worry if you don't have any work experience, because for some courses it may not be relevant. So it's important that you find out the requirements for the course. Some will specifically ask for work experience and some of them won't. So it's important that you do that. But another question I get, how much work experience is good work experience? I would say it's about the quality, it's about the types of things that you've done and how you are reflecting on those experiences to say what you've learned from them and what you've learned about that career going forward. So think about the quality, not the quantity, and really, really important to think about the different places you might be able to do that. It's not just about a part-time job, but also have a look at voluntary opportunities and other things like that that you might be able to do. So these things could include being holding positions of responsibility, being a head boy or prefect at school, doing things such as being on the council, or any part-time work that you might have done on the weekends. Other things include other areas of responsibility you might have had outside the classroom. It might be contributing to a team that was looking after a charity event. It could be any musical talents that you have, any sports activities that you may have participated in, and they hold great value in terms of teamwork, camaraderie, coming together for a common purpose and goal. Things such as the Duke of Edinburgh really demonstrate your ability to go outside the curriculum, further develop yourself and think about how you're bringing that back in to the curriculum. Other clubs and societies, and again, other things such as other voluntary opportunities you might have. I spoke a little bit about transferable skills. I've used some of these buzzwords already, but other things for you to consider around leadership responsibilities, organization, teamwork, things that we would value and see as a great asset when you come to the university. Pick out some of the best examples and how you've gained these. And it's not just about a list, it's about demonstrating that. Another transferable skills, think about how you work diplomatically, how you might strategize, how you're enhancing your curiosity. And university and learning is about broadening your horizons and learning about new things. And again, think about how you've demonstrated this and how you might have done this inside or outside the curriculum. So skills gained from work experience are really, really important. It's really important to think about what kind of responsibility you may have had, the confidence that you might have developed working with people if you're working in a part-time job, for example, working in a shop or a store, being financially aware because you've had to hold financial responsibility, and more importantly, very important to have a good balance and being able to manage yourself under conflicting deadlines and remaining calm under pressure and being able to demonstrate that in workplace opportunities is really, really good. So a really nice example of work experiences here. So if you want to, again, press the pause button and have a little read through that. I'll again move on to some of the strong points in this and also some areas of improvement. So again, you can see here in green, the commitment, the responsibility demonstrated through that position of responsibility, also demonstrating through work, sports work, and playing different types of activities have given the student the ability to demonstrate teamwork and communication skills. And again, the red there is a long list of skills and attributes which are not evidenced. So that is not a strong aspect of this particular section. But again, moving on to Excel, demonstrating numeracy skills. Again, on MOOCs are online learning courses. So again, a real example of going out of their way. And also that last line there, proving how this has helped develop numerical and problem solving skills. So you can see that narrative forming. This is what I did. This is what I achieved. This is what I learned. And this is how it's going to be useful for the future as you write your personal. So the last one, as I always mention, is very, very important because it's really important to bring all of these key things together and conclude it together as one nice paragraph. Sometimes shorter, but please do give it its time and space to formulate. So why you should be offered the course is really important to reinforce in here. Link the answer of your experiences and examples that you used earlier, and link your answer also to your career plans and also your future ambitions and any change that you would want to see and things that motivate you for the future as well. Really nice for us to be able to see that. Another opportunity for you to pause here and read through at your own leisure. And again, I'll move on now to some of the strong points here. So again, here is a mention of some writing. It's not as specific as it should be. Again, the red mention of GCSE to A level. We are aware of your career journey, your academic journey as you've been at school through your application form. So remember, we're looking for some key things in terms of confidence, having the necessary skills, thinking about your future and how it's going to equip you to achieve your goal. So it's very target orientated, very future orientated around what you see yourself doing in the future. So a really good closing paragraph statement there. So that gives you your 4 main sections, starting off with your opening, your big chunk around your academic section, your co-curriculars, your interpersonal skills, the other attributes you bring, and coming to a solid close. So to leave you with some top tips as we go forward. So another one for you to pause on, because I'm going to ask you to think about why we would want to avoid the first 2 sentences. And that would be because you want to save some space. And as I've mentioned, that there are these things already mentioned in your application. So there's no need to be able to have to repeat these aspects within your application. The next sentence about the reading from To Kill a Mockingbird. there's no explanation here as to why that this is a key aspect to your personal statement. So an explanation, sorry, as to why this is a good piece of writing and how this might relate to your course is essential. Think about, is this adding value? If not, then do remove it. The last one there, it's really important to talk about your work experiences, but please remember to write any company names correctly. And in this specific answer, talking about how much you're earning is not necessarily relevant to the job. Think about what skills you're gaining as part of this. So another example for you to have a read and a pause on your screen. So the first example there. So really important that you don't use synonyms. Very easy to do when you're looking for different words, when you're trying to look at other things and trying to make things sound differently. Important to get as many people around you to have a look as possible. One of the top tips that I was given when I was at school was to write your draft, place it under your bed and look at it afresh. So give you the time to think about other words to use instead of things that you might be using repetitively. Otherwise, get somebody around you, a friend, a family member, to have a little look and to advise you about other words that you could use. So the last sentence here around law and why it fascinates the student. So again, this is about punctuation and grammar. It's extremely careless, and I said that this is one of the times the university would be able to see your academic writing as part of your application. So it's really important that you put your best foot forward and make sure that you're coming across as the best as you can, really. So things to take away, ask yourself why. So why am I doing this? How am I showing my experiences and how are they helping you prepare for university? I'm sure your school teachers will remind you of this as well, but please don't plagiarize. Make sure that each point is specific and it relates to your experiences and things that you can demonstrate and evidence at a later date. And most importantly, enjoy the process. Though this does sound quite serious and it has been quite a formal presentation in many ways, but it's an opportunity for you to get your personality across and show us your strengths as to how you see yourself benefiting society in the future through your studies here at Lancaster University Management School or other schools and universities around the world. Another key question we get from students in the current environment is, what could we be doing in a pandemic? I don't have the same opportunities. We're not going out playing sports as much. I'm not getting the opportunity to organise public events. I'm not getting the work experience I would have hoped for. So here are some things to think about. But first of all, please don't worry. We understand that it's a difficult time, and we understand that there are many students within this environment and these are facing these challenges. So there are some super-curricular things that you could look to do in your time. So this is things that relate to your course outside of the classroom. Think about how you might do further reading. I mentioned some of those MOOCs, those online courses are a great way to expand your further reading. It might include newspapers or journals, a few pieces that really demonstrate your interest and motivation in the subject area. I always talk about taster days, and we do a wonderful range of masterclasses here at the university. And like Lancaster, you'll find some of these recorded online and being able to access this in your own time when you are at home and having a little bit of a further interest. So for example, we recently for Valentine's Day delivered a talk around the economics of love and marriage. That might have sparked your interest in the study of economics, and you could find that recording on our website, and I'm sure there are other wonderful universities with other wonderful sessions for you to access as well. But really important, keep up to date with current affairs, show that you're reading the news, show that you're keeping up to date with what is currently a changing world at a very fast pace. So extracurricular activities, this means things that you might be doing outside the curriculum altogether. So your part-time work, online work, there are opportunities to volunteer with organisations such as the UN Online. So those internships might be something you could access. Volunteering within your community with people that are particularly facing some challenges right now would be some great things. And Virtual hobbies and interests are also great ways to develop your skills and meet with other individuals. So really important to reach out, do what you can. And of course, there are some outdoor sports which you'll be able to access to make the most of that time to demonstrate that you are continuously committed to your own self-development. So things to consider in terms of the application. In the current climate, universities will do whatever they can and be understanding of your work experiences. So do reach out and communicate to us. For courses that have work experience requirement, this may be because of regulating bodies. So they may have released other information if there is any flexibility. So keep on top of that. For those of you that are looking at courses such as medicine, which have far more kind of in detail requirements around medicine, around work experience, it's always important to reach out specifically to that medical school and seek some guidance. So for example, at Lancaster, the medical school has a specific brochure you can access on the website that has information about the types of things they look through for the application process. So leading on from that, a great place to start, another thing for you to pause on and to be able to research on our website, you can have a look at our prospectus. This QR code will help you download that from our website. So please do take the time to look through the course and take your opportunity to understand the course before you apply for it. And you might see some commonalities, some common modules that exist across, for example, economics degrees in different universities that you might be able to relate and talk about as you're applying with your personal statement. So without any further ado, I'd like to thank you for your time and listening to me today. Hopefully you found that useful. And as always, universities like Lancaster and our management school will be always on hand to be able to help you throughout this process. So please don't be frightened to reach out to us. You can email us at lums, which is LUMS, @lancaster.ac.uk. Or just jump on our website and find out a little bit more. But hopefully you found that useful. I look forward to welcoming you here at Lancaster University Management School in the very near future. And as always, take care, keep safe, and all the best from here at Lancaster University Management School. Bye-bye.